Hello, everybody. This is Mike from Nifs, Knots, and Nonsense. And today I want to teach you how to tie the Chironomid Klinkhammer, or the Chirono-Klink. This is a fly that I've been using a lot on my local club pond because the pond is basically a chironomid factory. We have a lot of flies that either land on the water and drop their eggs, or they live in the pond and they come up and hatch throughout the course of the day. And so I wanted something that I could tie to actually look like the chironomids that we had in the pond. And so this is a dry fly. The Clinkhammer itself it's a dry fly or a parachute fly with a curved hook. So that way the abdomen of the fly actually extends down into the water and kind of looks like an ovipositing female or an emerger or a dry that just caught by the wind. And as a result, it's incredibly effective. Also, as it's tied in this parachute style, the hackle of the fly sticks out like the way that the legs of a chironomid sit on the water. So I like this one. I tied a couple up. I've been using them at the club. It's proven incredibly effective for me, especially midday and in the evening when the fish start looking up and start taking adults. The materials for this fly are fairly simple. There's only a handful of them. You'll need a hook. Obviously, I use the Hackle Competition H390BL. Today, I'm using a size 16. You can do 18s, you could do 14s. If you have big chironomids, you can even get away with something like a 12. But I found that most of the chironomids on the pond are either an 18 or a 20, so I fudge it a little bit and use a size 16. You need a thread. I've got my standard 70 denier UTC Ultra thread in black. You can vary the colors on this. You can do them in like a cream, a brown, a green, which I'm starting to see on the pond. But most of the time I use black. The fish don't mind. You need a turkey biot. I use a fulling mill, just a regular turkey biot in black. Okay, so there's fulling mill there. They work really well, and it gives me that nice ridged abdomen there that I like. I really like the effect on flies. You'll need some Antron yarn. I just have a regular UV Antron yarn that I use for for parachute posts. I use it sometimes for sparkle shucks. I use it for a couple other things, but I just have a spool of it. It doesn't have a label on anymore, but I believe it is a hairline spool. You need Hackle. I have a Whiting Farms. This is a Grizzly Hackle it's a Grizzly Hackle. It's the 100s pack, which works really well, but this is a size 18. It's close enough. It works for me. The fish don't care. And then the last thing you need is some dry fly dubbing. So this is a super fine waterproof fly dubbing, and I'll use the black, but you could also use a brown, a cream, a blue dun. Color it to match the naturals, but right now, as I've said, I'm tying blacks. Let's go tie the Klinkhammer. Let me start my thread. And while I do that, I'm going to explain something. I'm going to do this twice for this video. One at more of the macro view, which is what you're seeing right now. And then if you watch through towards the end, I'll do it again with the macro lens. So you'll be able to actually see it up close, even more detailed than what you're seeing right now. Okay? Once I get the thread started, and it doesn't take a lot to get it started, you want to add the wing post. Okay. So that Antron yarn. And what I do is I just double it over. I work off the spool like this. I've got that extra hand, and I'll just work off the spool, put it in my left hand, take the wing post down and around and up. And you don't want too much sticking out of the top. All right. So you just gauge. You want just enough that you can really hold it. So that's maybe half an inch at the most. And then tie that on, and I'll pass my thread over the top, but I'll just figure eight around that wing post for a couple wraps until it's in there and stable. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. And then I will come up and cut this off, but I'll cut it off a little bit long. So that's maybe 3/4 of an inch. Definitely more sticking up right now here than what I actually want on the finished fly. That's okay. It gives me room to work. Okay. And now what I'll do is make a little thread down behind. Doesn't take a lot of wraps. Couple wraps in front just to hold it all together. And then I will wrap around that wing post. Now, it's hard to do when it's upright. So what I do a lot of times is I cheat. I'll rotate the fly away so that the wing post is away from me. And then I can give it wraps. And it's relatively easy. You want to do a couple light ones. Okay, and this is the hardest part to actually get used to. Do a couple wraps like that, then tighten it down and take it down that wing post. And if you put the wraps right next to each other, they'll sit fairly well. Okay. And if it starts to, or if it wants to keep twisting and springing your thread free, then take it down and wrap it around the thread of the base of the hook for a bit. Okay. So wrap it around this way. Oop, oop, oop. Okay, starts to twist a little. And give it a wrap around the shank of the hook. Okay, come back up. And I need just a couple more wraps and then it'll be good. Need to go a little bit higher. Harsh. Give me a little bit more room here on my thread. Go around. Now, one good way to do this is if you put the wraps of thread like this, I'll turn around like this so you can see. You put the wraps of thread right next to each other. They don't want to travel as much, but you can only do so many of those and then you have to come back to the base. Okay. But what you want to do is wrap around that wing post and have the wing post anchored down. So it's wrapped around the shank of the hook here on the bottom. It's got wraps behind, it's got wraps in front, and it's got wraps around the wing post. And once you do that, it is pretty good to continue tying. Okay. Proportions wise, these hooks are a little bit weird. So you'll see I've mounted this into the vise here in a way that the part of the hook that's parallel is right in here, right around where that wing post is. Leave a little bit of a space here. This is just the width of my scissors that you can see, right? So that's the width of my scissors, or maybe 2 bodkin widths. Then I am going to just take this back, take it back to the shank of the hook. And it is time for turkey biot. I'm going to just throw in a half hitch here. The turkey biots come like this. And you'll see there's a shorter one, use these for nymphs, and a longer fiber, you use these for dries or for bigger hooks. And so that's what I want to use, is one of these bigger barbules off the feather. If I can get one sorted out here. Using a bodkin helps. You can poke it in here and pull the barbule out. So that's what I'll do, and just get a bodkin, separate a fiber there. So you see that's pretty easy. I just poked the bodkin in there and then moved it towards the base of the feather. Pull one of these out. Now, I can't tell you how many times that I've tied this in, and I tied it too close to the tip here, and the tip broke when I started to wrap it. So keep that in mind. Every time it happens, I swear a little bit, I pull this out and then I retie it. Also, when you pull this out, there's this little curled part. You want to put just the curled part down when you tie it in. So put the curled part down, stretch it back, and I want to leave quite a bit hanging out the tip. And I just take my thread, bring my thread up so it's horizontal, and then slide the goose Biot right in there, or the turkey Biot right in there, and then wrap around it. And that's how I tie it in. You could do a pinch wrap, but with thinner material, it's easier just to stick it in that little pocket that the thread makes as it starts to go up the hook. Okay. I'm going to take this end that sticks out here and just give it a little cut off. Okay. And wrap my thread to right in front of the post. Okay. I'll give it a little half hitch because I'm going to use my vise in a rotary here, a rotary style in just a second. Okay. So that gets me there. Set my bobbin cradle around like that and set my thread on it. Okay, so that's out of the way. It's a little bit low. Hang on. Okay, there we go. And now I'm ready to wrap this turkey Biot. Now, this is one of the few things in life that I will use a pair of hackle pliers for. So I've got the regular opening hackle pliers or the squeezy ones. And I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to start wrapping it using the rotary. Be very careful at the beginning, because if your Biot is going to break, it'll break right here, or you will catch it on the tip of the hook. Okay, so I'm just going to slowly rotate it. Okay, now you can start spacing these out a little bit more as you get closer up to that post. Okay, but you'll see that's looking pretty nice. Once you get to the post and you say, oh, if I do it here, I'm going to overwrap where I've already wrapped, then you make a big lunge, and in demonstrating that, I grabbed some post. You make a big lunge forward of the post, take your thread here, and wrap over that Biot. And then just give it a couple wraps. Okay, so that's 3 if I counted correctly. I'm going to move my bobbin cradle out of the way, make this more upright so you can see. I'm going to release my hackle pliers, and now I am going to just pull this guy out of the way gently, give it a couple more wraps, and cut off the end of that Biot. Now I've got that nice segmented look on the abdomen of the fly, everything right in here, nice segmented with that kind of vein look. I really like that effect. And the fact is, most flies are designed to catch fishermen. This one is catching myself. The next step is to take my hackle, and the hackle I tie in just like I did the Biot. I'll take my thread up to a 45-degree angle, shove the tip of my hackle right into that little pocket, and then just wrap and tie it in. 6. Okay, so I've got 6 wraps around that hackle, ties it in nicely. I'm ready to come up here, do a half hitch. Okay, and I'm ready to wrap the hackle. So what I will do is go 1 wrap to get up high, and then give it 2. Hiya! It went poof. 1 to get up to the top of where I wrap the thread, and then give it 2 more to come down. 2, and then 1 more. Then take this end of the feather, hold it out and down and back, and then I'm going to take my thread and go over the top, and then slide it up to the post. And that should hold it. I'm going to do it again. Put it down. I'll put it down on the right there on the abdomen of the hook, and then slide it forward. Okay, do it again there. Okay, and now we are ready. And it looks like that from the top, and it looks like that from the bottom. Okay, so you can see where I tied off that hackle. Let's give it 1 more wrap in there. Okay, and now I'm ready to take this, and I'll rotate it so that it's away from me. Take my scissors, use good scissoring here. You just use the tip of the scissors, just open up a little bit, poke it right around that feather, and pull it off. Okay. Now I've got a couple other fibers that are trapped here, and I want to get rid of them. So smooth that out, and I'm looking pretty good there. Okay, so this is what this fly now looks like. My Antron yarn is trying to spread a little bit, so I give it a twist. Okay, so there we are. Now we're ready for the dubbing. Now we are ready for the dubbing. And the dubbing, you don't want a lot of dubbing. This is dry fly dubbing, so it's super fine material. You can actually see it there. Each of the fibers is incredibly small, and I need, not a lot of it. It's a small little pinch. I'm going to pull my thread down, twist this onto the thread. Sometimes I have problems with this. The material is so fine, there's not enough moisture. It doesn't actually stick to the thread, so I might add wax, or I might add a little bit of spit to convince it to stay there. And now I'm just going to take 2 fingers and a thumb, slide that up, and I am ready to start wrapping it. But in order to do that, I'm going to take my fly and twist it so that it's maybe a 45-degree angle. That allows me to see what I'm doing a little bit better. And all I want to do is hold it here, touch the abdomen, slide it up. Okay. And I'll get 2 wraps behind, and then grab like this with a pinch, pull everything up out of the way, and make 2 wraps in front. And I got an extra half a wrap because I still have material. Okay. And I am looking pretty good. I'll clean the rest of it up here in a second. Okay. Now to tie this off, I'll just use my half hitch tool because it's a little bit tight area to do a whip finish. So I'll just use the half hitch tool. Normally I do half hitches just right over the hook with my fingers. With as much knot room as I have today on this fly, I'm just going to throw in a series of half hitches. Okay. Cool. So I threw in 4 or 5 half hitches. I'm ready for this. Ready to cut off my thread and take my post and cut it off. I want it a little bit longer than the hackle length. So something like that. Give it a little brush. And now I'm going to give it a 360 and say, what? Trim up some fibers here. So I've got some that are hanging out. Okay, just do a little bit of a neatening job. And then the last step that I do is take the tweezers and look for hackle that is sticking out where it's not supposed to be. And I'll just give those a tug and pull them right out of there. Looking pretty decent. Got a couple. Oh, I got a little bit of fiber there, so I'll cut that. Okay. And that is my finished Klinkhammer. Okay, let's tie it up close. So I will start the thread, trim off the excess, and take my poly yarn, my Antron yarn, wrap that around the stem of the hook. I got way too much there. Let's see. You do this. Pull a little bit tighter. Okay. Wrap it. Couple wraps to hold it. Okay, cut the top of the yarn. Set that off to the side, and now I have to get it wrapped from the back here. 1, 2. I'm ready to do the wraps around. Okay. Okay. That wrapped around the shank of the hook a little bit. Bring it back up. And I'm ready to do a lot more now. 3. So put the wraps right next to each other and it twists up nicely. But you can only get about 5 of those before it decides that it's going to spring. So I'll wrap around the hook, then bring it back up. Take that back down, around the hook, and we're looking pretty good there. I do have a little bit of extra here, so I'm going to figure 8 it around, see if I can cover up some of that white. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, cool. So I got that fairly well tied up. Now it's time to work our way to the back of the hook. I go a little bit low with this one. Grab a turkey Biot. That has a couple, so I'm going to find just one out of there. Pull that out. Okay, the notch goes down. Okay, I want to go right there. Tie that in. Okay, work my way up to the post. Trim off the end of that turkey Biot. Maybe. Okay, and then take my thread right in front of the wing post. Tie it off with a half hitch. Okay. Swing my bobbin cradle around and set up for using the vice rotary style. Okay, so my bobbin goes up here in the cradle, keeps it out of the way. Now I'm going to grab with my hackle pliers here and start wrapping that turkey Biot. Okay, I am ready for the big, maybe one more? Yeah, one more. Then I'm ready for the big lunge. Ready to tie that off. Okay. Bring that up online. And take my thread and wrap it over. There's one wrap, 2 wraps, 3 wraps. Okay, let go with the hackle pliers. Move my bobbin cradle out of the way. Okay, and moving my bobbin cradle, my turkey Biot decided it was going to do weird things. Okay, now I'm ready. Hey, it just wrapped around my thread. Hey, just grab the wing post and pull that a little bit back so it's out of the way. Okay, and then give some good wraps over the turkey Biot, then cut that turkey Biot right out of there. Okay, take it, thread back to right in front of the post, and give it a half hitch. Okay, we're good there. Take my hackle, Stick it right into the pocket created by the thread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do 7 there, because I had to go a little bit forward to tie off the tip of that hackle. Throwing a half hitch right there. Okay. Pull that forward a little bit, or pull it straight up as it was bent to the back. And I'm going to go in and wrap it. Okay. 1 to get it up, top, and then coming down as I wrap. And I think that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. Okay. And then go up over the hackle, slide it in the bottom. Same here. Over, slide it in, over, slide it in, and then over like that to tie it in. And I'm ready to cut that out. So I'm going to rotate a little bit. Cut my hackle out of there. Okay. There are a couple extra fibers, so I'm going to give them the tweezer. Just tweezer those out. Okay, those things are a little bit long, so I can. There we go. That looks nice. Okay. Cool. So there's where we're at. Now we are here, and I want to go around and hang it behind the wing post. So hang my thread behind the wing post like that. It's time for some black dubbing. And I'm trying to get the right amount here, so it's kind of interesting to get the right amount. Okay. But I'll put that on. Slide that up. Do right there. And then I will do a pinch grab. Pull everything up. Wrap right behind there. Okay. Pinch again. Whoop. Everything sprung out of my fingers there. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to pull it back. Wrap. Pull back. And wrap. And I'm going to have a look at this. So, yeah, it looks pretty good. Got a couple fibers that are trapped right there that are sticking down. But I will deal with those in a second. I do need just a hair more dubbing. There's a joke there. I'll let you figure it out. Just a little bit more dubbing to add right in front of the wing post there. And I'll push that up and pull the fibers out and give it a wrap right. Oh, right there is where I wanted it to be. Okay. Cool. Oh, yeah. Trapping the fibers as always. Not the best thing in the world. But okay. And then use a half hitch tool. Tie this off. 3, 4. That's something weird with my thread. I got it split when I did that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, we're good there. And pull that down and give it a little snippy. All right. And take my wing post, cut that off. Something like that. And all I need to do now is go and clean up some hairs here. And these guys They just got trapped when I was wrapping, so I need to just go, bodkin. I will bodkin these out. Okay, so I'm just going to go like that, and they're still kind of trapped, so I'll tweezer. Okay, and that looks pretty decent, although I got a crazy black thread there. Okay, and that is the Clinkhammer up close. As always, I've been Mike. This is Nymphs, Knots, and Nonsense, and I will see you all in the next video.